Hey Arnie, how you doing, pal?
Good, Peyton. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, I wanted to ask you, I know during your career you were not one to look back and kind of go down memory lane, but as you're approaching the induction and it's kind of capstone to your incredible career, have you had a chance to kind of look back a little bit and maybe see the points along your journey that were really integral to your success? Maybe, certain coaches or teammates, anything like that?
Sure. Yeah. I think certainly I would think about more the people at certain points along the way that have just had a big impact on me. uh, Coaches, Arnie, you mentioned, have had a tremendous impact on me. My dad never coached me growing up, but was kind of my mentor. And his rule was I had to ask him for help for football. He was glad to do it as long as I was kind of initiating it. And then sent me to Tennessee. A guy named David Cutcliffe just had a big impact on me, teaching me so much about the quarterback position, getting me prepared for the NFL, and then so many coaches in Indianapolis and Denver. So that's kind of what I've thought about. You think about your first year getting drafted, what an exciting time it is. And, my rookie year was a struggle, but the things that I learned as a rookie had a big impact on me going forward in Indianapolis. And then, obviously with my injury in 2011, that was kind of that was a pivotal time, just kind of what my next step was going to be. And Denver, took a chance on me. I'll never forget it, because there was a dicey time there where nobody quite sure, including me, knew what was going to happen, and ended up being a great place to go.
Hey, thanks. Good seeing you at the All-Star game last night too.
Thanks, pal. Good to see you, buddy.
All right, Ben Swenson and then Mike Chappelle.
Hey, Peyton. I was just wondering how the speech writing process is going. Do you watch previous speeches, and do you kind of look to see maybe what other people have done, or are you just doing it all on your own?
I've been to the ceremony, I want to say 3 times now. For Bill Polian, Tony Dungy, Marvin Harrison, Pat Bowlen, Champ Bailey. So I've been to it. It's obviously a great point of emphasis this year on the length of the speeches. And I hear there's been a great point of emphasis in years past. I don't think it's just been stressed very well. So they're saying there's like a blinking light at 6 minutes, maybe a little bell going off at 7 minutes, and then at 8 minutes they say that someone's going to come up and lead the applause to kind of end the speech. I look forward to seeing when they come up and lead the applause while Alan Faneca is still speaking, and just good luck getting him off the stage, or anybody that's an offensive lineman. It's probably tough to pull, but it is a limited amount of time. It's between 6 and 8 minutes. And the other inductees and I have kind of texted to each other about everybody trying to honor that, to be respectful of the person behind you, and wanting everybody to have the fair amount of time and not take up time. So I'm right there at 7 minutes and 50 seconds as we speak. Unfortunately, it's just not enough time to thank everybody. The good thing is for the past 5 years, either on a handwritten note or a phone call or in person, I've had a chance to thank the people personally. And so it's even though I won't get to repeat them all in the speech, there's certainly, the thank yous are as heartfelt now as they were then. So I will be on time, and hopefully be able to share how appreciative I am of the honor, and share how thankful I am for all the different people that have been a part of my football journey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Mike Chappelle and then Bo Marchianti.
Hey, Peyton, how you?
Hey, Mike.
The selecting Arch to present you was obviously a no-brainer. But just could you elaborate on why and I guess what he's meant to you, and which is why you.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, Mike, he never was my coach by any means, but he certainly had the greatest impact on my football life than anybody. You know, growing up around the game, I was 8 years old when he retired. He'd bring Cooper and I to Saturday morning practices. We got to go down there on the football field at the Superdome after games. So definitely grew up around football. My dad was always making a point to include us, to, you know, let us come to practice, took us to Hawaii for the Pro Bowl. That was important to him. And look, I had no idea I was going to end up having the same career, but it definitely had a big impact. And then when I started getting serious about playing high school football, I meant what I said. I had to ask him to come help us. But when I asked him, he was glad to do it. And he'd come over and kind of help organize workouts over at the high school with me and my wide receivers. And my dad always took a lot of credit. He thought I think during Cooper's high school career and my high school career, my dad felt like he mentored 5 all-state receivers at Newman School, right? He took pride in that because he knew how to coach the receivers on what a quarterback wanted. So, like I said, never was my coach, but always was my mentor. And so, you know, I can only think of about 2 or 3 games that he's missed since I was in high school or college, and in the NFL. Obviously didn't go to all the road games, but watched every one of them, bit his fingernails the entire time. My mom said, not a very calm fan, according to my mom. So yeah, your words are exactly right. Just a no-brainer as far as picking him to present me, and just couldn't have a more appropriate person to do that.
Thanks, Peyton.
Thanks, Mike. Bo, you're next. On deck is Olivia Ray.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, congratulations. I'm sure you heard John Madden joke around that, you know, the bus talk once they're inside the hall and you guys are all enshrined. Once your bust is in there, Peyton, who do you think you're going to gravitate to and start, you know, talking it up and wanting to meet when those busts kind of get together?
Yeah, that's true about the bust whispering. I've heard it. Me and my son Marshall got a little tour of the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, and Marshall kind of leaned in there and said he heard Vince Lombardi talking a little bit. So Madden was right. I'm going to kind of allude to it in my speech, and so I'll probably make you wait a couple of weeks to hear it. But I think they do more than just talk at night. I think maybe they play some games in there. Maybe do a little one-on-one, a little 7-on-7. And so I've had a couple of dreams about being in there and being in one of these scrimmages against some of these Hall of Famers. And, you know, it's just a dream right now. You know, obviously in August, it'll be a reality. So, you know, because of my dad, I have always had great appreciation and knowledge of the history of the game, just because I used to hear him talk about players that he was playing against and players that he grew up watching. And so I always understood that. And then when I got to Indianapolis, you know, even though we were in Indianapolis and none of those guys played in that city, but I mean, there were pictures of Johnny Unitas and Raymond Berry and Gino Marchetti in our building, saw them every day. And so I always thought it was important. I think it's important for all players to understand the history of the game, the players that came before us. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool to say you're on the same team as Johnny Unitas and Sammy Ball. I think that's just pretty cool.
Thank you, Peyton.
Olivia Ray, and then next would be Mark Cleese.
Hi, Peyton. I know a lot of kids at St. Vincent are going to be celebrating in August along with you. I've been speaking with them, and I wanted to know where your work with the Children's Hospital ranks among your many achievements here and why it's remained so important in your life here.
Well, thanks for asking. No, it's certainly it's a team that I'm very proud to be a member of, and maybe the greatest form of teamwork I've ever witnessed. You know, watching these doctors and nurses and support staff work together to help these kids get healthy, to help their parents and family feel more at ease. And just been proud to have been associated with this team for so many years and still today. So, I had great mentors. My dad was always a great community servant. Tony Dungy was always telling us on Tuesday on your off day, go out and do something and make Indianapolis a better place to live. Don't just be over here watching film all day. And so for me, being a part of the Children's Hospital there was a great way to serve, and spent a lot of time over there visiting kids and families, and always, it's a reminder there's a lot of people going through tough times right now. They need our prayers and need our support. So very proud of the association. And I think the nice thing about going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is you go in and you take a lot of people with you. You take a lot of teams with you. You don't go in by yourself. And so, for me, taking Louisiana and Indiana and Tennessee and Colorado, all those people with me, that's important to me.
Thanks, Olivia. Folks, we got a couple of mics open. If you could keep yourself muted unless you're addressing Peyton, that'll help everybody get clean audio. Mark, you're up, and then Brandon Christall.
I think you were talking about me there. Peyton, first of all, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Mike.
And then also a good job last night trying to get Otani to chase.
Hey, it was an 0-2 count in my head, so I had a pitch to throw away.
Okay.
That's kind of what Helton told me anyway.
Okay. Just looking forward here. The Broncos got this uncertainty at the top there with, ownership and the trust and everything. And I was just wondering if going forward, you would be interested in a role with the Broncos.
Well, certainly, look, living in Denver, I'm very much a Broncos ambassador, fan, season ticket holder. I've been to every game the past 5 years since I retired that fans were allowed to go to. So I'm certainly as interested in what's going to happen as anybody, because I care about it, just like I care about Indianapolis Colts, University of Tennessee, you name it. So, Mike, as I've told you before, I think I've kind of gone sort of on a year-to-year basis in this second chapter. Hey, I'm going to try to do this year, right? And I don't really go past that very much, because you try different things and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I never knew I'd be a game show host. I can promise you that. I mean, if you guessed that's what I was going to do after football a few years ago, you would have been crazy as far as I believe. So, look, being a part of the game is important to me. I've kind of found different ways to be involved with it, doing these things for ESPN, the Peyton's Places, the history of the game. That's been a blast. Getting to watch film with Joe Namath and Raymond Berry. I mean, that's a dream come true for a football junkie like me. So, but, look, I'll always be a part of the Colts and the Broncos organizations in some way. But, obviously I'm interested in what's going to happen. And I haven't said no to anything officially forever, right? I've just kind of said no to some things each year. The next year, maybe things change. So, yeah, who knows what will happen in that, but it's certainly going to be a part of my life forever, in my opinion.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Brandon, you're up, and Andrew Mason next. Brandon? All right, we'll come back to Brandon. Andrew, if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Good to see you, Peyton. You're going to get that Hall of Fame ring later on this year. You're going to put on that jacket for the first time in a few weeks. Have you thought about that moment where you put the jacket on and what that might feel like and what that's going to mean to you?
Yeah, I went to that ceremony 2 years ago for Champ Bailey and the Bolin family. It's funny, I was sitting with Steve Atwater in kind of the upper deck. All the families were down there on the floor, and Steve and his wife. I had my son Marshall with me. We were sitting there just kind of watching it. And and now he and I are going in on the same weekend. So kind of funny, but I can tell that was a special night. I could see the looks on the faces of Champ Bailey, putting that jacket on, and you truly are becoming a member of a new team. And I think that's the great thing about football. You played on so many different teams, and I don't know, that's what I loved about it, right? It wasn't an individual sport. It was a team sport. And so you're certainly joining a new team, and it seemed like there was a great fraternity there amongst the previous inductees. That they've obviously have a bond there. They've all played against each other. They see each other every year back in Canton. So it's hard to tell you right now how I'm going to feel, but just in having witnessed it a couple of years ago, I can tell it's a special night. It's a special feeling. And, the fact that my, dad will be there to kind of present me there on stage. And I don't know if he gives me the jacket. I'm not sure how that works, but, having him as a part of this, riding in the parade with me, that's very special to me as well.
Thanks, Peyton.
Yes.
All right, we're going to come back to Brandon. He got his technical issue fixed, and then we'll go to Troy Rank.
Yeah, apparently you have to unmute when you want to ask a question, but Peyton, it was good seeing you on the field the other night. Sorry to give you a hard time about your jersey being untucked, but I'm curious because you mentioned, getting to sit down with Joe Namath and talking to Raymond Berry. You're such a fan of football. How are you going to balance seeing all these greats? And I'm sure you're invited to every Hall of Famers party, and you love all these guys so much, and still make the weekend about you and enjoy everything. I mean, do you almost liken it to how your wedding is, where you can only spend a few seconds with every guest because so many friends and teammates are going to be there for you? How do you balance it all?
Well, certainly it's a long weekend, going in Thursday for the game, and then the Friday night ceremony. Saturday night, I will be very engaged in the ceremony because I have an old teammate, Edgerrin James, who's getting inducted on Saturday night, and going to his party on Saturday night because one of my favorite teammates of all time. And so there's probably something about pacing yourself throughout the weekend, but the majority of my friends are probably not coming in till Sunday for the actual ceremony, and then a Sunday night post enshrinement party. But look, it's hard to get together much anymore with old teammates because everybody's so spread out. Everybody's got kids, different things going on. So whether it's a 5-minute visit or a 3-hour visit, it's just a special bond that you have with your teammates, coaches, support staffs, high school teammates, your family. It's not like you're going to be together again the following weekend, right? So I think you want to take a time to kind of slow that down, kind of capture that moment, not be in a hurry to kind of get through the night, to kind of take time with each person. I'm sure there'll be a lot of pictures taken. So I look forward to that because after, when you're playing, you're with those guys every day. You see them every day. When you stop playing, now it's a text here or there. It's a phone call. So I'm looking forward to catching up with a lot of old teammates in Canton.
Thanks, Peyton.
Troy, your turn. And next afterward would be Mary Kay Cabot.
Peyton, great to see you. It was
Troy.
great to see you there with Todd last night. I know that was special. Saw Todd on Monday, so it was good to see you together.
Great to see you.
Had you not played in Denver, I think all of us would agree you would have been a Hall of Famer. But when you look back on it now, how does that all kind of fit together in your mind when you look at, they took the chance on you, obviously, because of the neck injury, but now you live here. For so many minutes, you feel like you're a Broncos Hall of Famer, even though you spent the bulk of your career with the Colts. Can you just kind of explain how this piece all fit together in your career and how you ended up living here?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just your classic case of don't ever assume anything, and it's hard to kind of predict things too far in advance. And I certainly wanted to play for the Indianapolis Colts my entire career because they were the team that drafted me. I think every player should have that goal. It doesn't happen very much anymore, but I was fascinated by John Elway being only a Bronco, Dan Marino being only a Dolphin, Aikman, Cowboys. My dad drafted by New Orleans, majority of his career lived in New Orleans. So that was my plan all along. And then just things changed, things happened. I had an injury that just couldn't quite get it right, caused me to have several surgeries and had to miss an entire season, which I can still remember. I was in a hospital bed in California watching the Colts play the Texans on opening day. Kerry Collins is starting at quarterback for the Colts. And I just remember it was just me and Ashley in there, just how emotional I was watching that I couldn't be out there with my teammates, and then had to miss that entire season. That was really tough, Mike. It was a low time. Ashley and I had kids, earlier that spring. Thank goodness. That was a blessing in disguise during a tough time. But, as we kind of got later in the season, realizing the Colts were going to certainly have a high pick, I kind of began to become aware that it might not be in the cards for me to still be in Indianapolis. They might be looking in a different direction, and that's what they did. And Denver they just welcomed me with open arms, Troy. They were the only really team that understood, I think, what I was going through emotionally, physically. And I think a lot of that is Elway. That Elway, I think, flirted with going to other teams, maybe rumors or whatnot. I think he knew probably how that could have affected him. He certainly knew injuries, and they were the only team, Troy, that said, "Hey, Peyton, give us your Indianapolis Colts playbook. We will form this hybrid offense with the plays that we like here in Denver that we think will help you at this point in your career. We'll form this mesh of an offense and really give you a chance to get back going again." And not every other team was doing that. So I'll always be indebted to Denver for Fox, Elway, McCoy, Gase for just kind of helping me in that transition. And just had a wonderful 4 years playing there. Moving's a pain, Troy. That was a major ordeal to move a long time ago. I have a great relationship with Indianapolis and still very involved there in the community, just like I am in Knoxville and New Orleans. But you can only live in one place, and Denver has just been a great place to live. Really enjoyed being a part of the community, and really couldn't have made a better decision to go out there and play back in 2012.
Congrats again, Peyton. Can't wait to see you here in a few weeks.
Thank you, Troy.
Mary Kay Cabot, one of our Hall of Fame selectors, and then next will be John Wilkerson.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Peyton. Just really so honored to be able to be part of helping to vote you in, and really, really excited about this for you.
Thank you, Mary Kay.
So I'm just wondering, in looking at the state of NFL quarterbacking today, what thoughts are going through your mind? Obviously, Tom is still hanging in there, and I'm sure you can't even believe that he's playing at the level that he is right now. But when you look at the Patrick Mahomes and you look at the Justin Herberts and the Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons, and all of these guys, Baker Mayfields, what do you think of the state of quarterbacking in the NFL right now and as it's going forward in the near future?
I think the quarterback position is in great shape, and just those names you mentioned, Mary Kay, what I like about it, and I think it'll be true, for just a long, long time, is that there's different ways to do it. There's different ways to play the position. And I remember for years, it seems like my 9th, 10th, 11th years, there was this rumor that the drop back quarterback was about to become extinct. There wasn't a place anymore. It was only the mobile quarterback. And I kept saying, I'm gonna have to go find a job because there's no way I can adjust to becoming a mobile quarterback. Eli's going to be out of a job. Brady's going to be out of a job. And that just wasn't true, that there's a place to play a different style at a different place. And the coaches, the smart coaches, are the ones that are figuring it out. They are adjusting their offenses to the quarterback's capabilities, right? They're not making a quarterback run if he can't run. They're not making a quarterback stand in the pocket if that's not where he's at his best. And that's what I like about it. So when you turn a game on, when I watch a game, I love watching Mahomes run around and make his throws. I love watching Brady stay in the pocket. I like watching Herbert stay in the pocket. I love Russell Wilson moving all around and making these incredible throws. I mean, it's just, to me, that's what's unique about the position, that there are different ways to do it. And I think that'll always be the case. So I think it's in good shape. We're down here in New Orleans right as we speak. We have our football camp this weekend that we've had for 25 years, and going to be around 1,100 high school quarterbacks and receivers, 40 starting college quarterbacks, and so I still love being around young football players, especially quarterbacks. That's something that's special to me.
Great. Thanks a lot, Peyton.
Thank you.
John Wilkerson and then Rick Russo.
Peyton, congratulations. Very deserving of the honor. Can't wait to see you in Canton. Just wanting to know, what does it mean to you to be the third Tennessee Volunteer and to be joining that roster that includes now Doug Adkins, Reggie White, and you?
Yeah, no, very honored, John, to join Reggie and Doug Adkins as University of Tennessee's Pro Football Hall of Famers. Certainly think. Certainly know I won't be the last. There's a tight end that played for the Cowboys that I think will be packing his bags for Canton in a few years, and just very proud of it. It's just been such an important part of my football journey. I've said this before, but every game I'd read the pregame program front to back and always just kind of check to be sure they had my information correct. And it always said quarterback 18, Peyton Manning, hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana, college, University of Tennessee. When they used to introduce you before the game, the announcer always said, from the University of Tennessee, quarterback. So I felt like I was always carrying Tennessee with me and was always reminded that that's where I came from. And that was important to me. And always was a real bond, John, playing against Al Wilson or Peerless Price, Leonard Little, guys that I played with, Jason Witten, just a bond there in the University of Tennessee playing against these guys in the NFL. And I certainly am taking the University of Tennessee and Knoxville and the state of Tennessee into the Hall of Fame with me because they've been such an important part of my football life. Have my college buddies, Coach Cutcliffe, Coach Fulmer, Jim Haslam, all will be in Canton to celebrate with me, and Trey Teague, my old roommate. That's very special and important to me as well.
Yeah, I figured Carmen will be along for the ride as well. Congratulations.
I mean, Carmen has never missed a party with free booze and food, so I can promise you that. But going back to join Reggie and Doug Adkins, obviously they're legends, right? And I had a chance to spend time with Doug Adkins my senior year. I interviewed him for a school project. Had to do a lot of editing on some of the language, but I really enjoyed the day. And Reggie, I didn't get to know as well because we just lost him way too soon. But what a great ambassador for Tennessee and so many things. And so really honored to join that group.
Hey, Peyton, congratulations. Rick Russo here in Knoxville. Going back to that day at the stadium, Peyton, when your former coaches came out to surprise you with the news that you were going into the Hall of Fame, what did that mean to you, especially having Coach Cut and Phillip there as well, and what those two guys specifically meant to you back here at the University of Tennessee?
Yeah, that was a special day. In many ways, there's so many negative things about the pandemic, but the fact that they weren't allowed to do the hotel knock on the door and they had to sort of give you the news in a different way. And Ashley kind of organized that where these coaches would come out to me to kind of let me know the news. And, the fact that Cutcliffe, Fulmer, Tony Dungy, Jim Caldwell, Kubiak all took the time to be there meant a lot. But really right there in front of me was, 30 years of coaching just flashed before my eyes, and had a high school, had a video from my high school coach on there and my couple other coaches. So that was special. We had a great short visit after. Everybody was getting back home right after that, but Coach Cut and Coach Fulmer and I had a great visit. Look, that's where it all started for me in Knoxville. Both those guys recruited me to come to Tennessee, and everything they told me was going to happen happened. They coached me hard, and most importantly, they've been great friends of mine ever since 1994, and I'm very thankful for that.
Thanks, man. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, we want to thank you for participating with Peyton. We're going to end with one question left, and we're going to let that be asked by Brooke Pryor of ESPN. And I want to remind everybody that Commissioner Paul Tagliabue was a late addition to the original Wednesday lineup, and his session is starting momentarily. So if you want to join that one as well, that link is also on the Pro Football Hall of Fame website. So Brooke, if you'll bring us home here.
No pressure. Peyton, you went up against another Hall of Famer in this class pretty often, or at least a couple times, in Troy Polamalu. And I wanted to ask, what is it about him as a safety that was just so frustrating for quarterbacks when you saw him, when you're watching film the week before, to know what you're about to get into with Troy?
Yeah, I mean, just a incredible athlete, unbelievable range. I mean, just one of those guys, like a Junior Seau, like an Ed Reed, you always knew where he was every play. I mean, or at least you were told, be sure you try to find where he's going to be, and because he could be down to your right, he could flip from the right to the left right before the snap in a heartbeat. Unbelievable instincts. You know, defensive coaches want you to do a certain thing, right? You're supposed to be in this position. That's the way the defense is set up. Well, with Troy, that was kind of out the window, because even though he was supposed to be here, he could tell the ball was going over there, and ends up over there. I'm like, no, he's not supposed to be there. That's not the way the defense is supposed to be played. And you know, Dick LeBeau just let him do his thing because of his instincts. Could catch, could run, could cover, could hit. You know, he and Ed Reed were just the two, like you said, most unique safeties because of their range, because of their playmaking abilities. They never dropped interceptions. They caught everything. Another sign of a great defensive back. So I'm excited to see Troy. I know he's going in on Saturday night, but it's certainly a no-brainer as far as this special honor for him.
Thanks, Brooke. And thank you, Peyton, for your time. Very appreciative of you being in today and taking these questions and providing such great answers. And we are really looking forward to seeing you and Ashley and Archie and the entire Manning family and all the people you talked about bringing with you to represent 3 weeks and 1 day from today. So can't wait to see you in Canton to honor you and the rest of the class of 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
See you, Peyton.